what do you identify as the big challenges facing the sport? People talk about the future of Test cricket. How big an issue is that for you?
Well, I think that it is without doubt that the future of Test cricket is changing, and there are a lot of factors that have come into it, and one is free agency and franchise cricket, the spreading of the game of cricket across borders that are not very familiar with Test cricket, nor have the heritage and tradition of cricket to actually have Test cricket take hold. There have been many changes made to try and hold on to the current number of fans and spectators that love the sport, and also to try and bring in more and more new fans to the sport to make it financially viable, not just for the countries that have iconic series like England, Australia, or for the powerhouses, of course, like India, but for the entire Test playing fraternity.
But do you fear for the future of Test cricket?
Well, I think the fears are justified. And I think maybe at certain times there will have to be a change of mindset from everyone concerned as to what Test cricket means. The MCC, me personally, the players, and over 80% of the fans around the world still hold Test cricket as the best format of the game and the most important. We've got to convert those words, that passion, that love, into actual people at grounds and eyeballs on TV. Test cricket kind of encompasses everything that is beautiful and great about this sport. There is no doubt about it. For us, as part of the MCC, past players, present players, administrators, it is imperative that we take that responsibility seriously, and we leave no stone unturned in the future to try and not just safeguard the game, but to make it really relevant to the people that play it.
So, Anthony Reifert, I mean, how do you prevent the franchises in one-day cricket taking over the game and effectively limited over cricket, white ball cricket becomes the sport?
I think we have to introduce cricket, or give kids as many opportunities as we possibly can to get into cricket at an early stage. I think there's a hell of a lot more that can be done in the relationship between schools and clubs. MCC is playing an increasing number of state schools. In fact, I think state school fixtures now dominate our amateur fixture list, and I think the key is to get people playing early, understanding the pride that they have in following either their county or their national team.
But will they want to play one-day cricket rather than Test cricket? Is Test cricket the thing that we need to preserve?
If we can introduce people to the short form, then hopefully they'll get the opportunity, they'll like it, they'll enjoy it, they'll understand it, and they'll want to graduate to the ultimate form, which, as Kumar says, is playing Test cricket for your country.
Corruption has been identified as and match fixing. How much of a threat do you think that is?
I think it's a constant threat, especially with the advent of so many franchise leagues around the world. So much money in the game in terms of commercial, in the commercial sense. It is the biggest threat to the integrity of the sport, the trust that the fans and spectators have in it. When it comes to commercial terms of marketing and sponsors, you want to watch something you love and trust is exactly, I mean, what you see is basically should be what you get. And I think there has to be greater player awareness built around this, and players themselves taking responsibility to actually say no, first of all, and to be educated as to what the reporting process is and what the protocols in place are. Trust needs to be established between not just the ICC anti-corruption units, but the home board units that are in place. At the same time, administrators being vetted, selectors, coaches, all of them need to buy into this and to understand that if we do not preserve the integrity of the game, be it Test cricket, T20 cricket, or any format, if the spectators don't trust it, they're not going to come, they're not going to fall in love with it, the passion dies, the game dies.
Anthony, diversity in cricket is also important. How does the MCC help get cricket into state schools and increase the diversity in the game?
20 years ago, we made a big move here to admit women, make them eligible for membership. That's been a huge success. We created a women's section, an amateur women's section, which has flourished since then. 2 years ago, we hosted the Women's World Cup here, which was one of the most stunning days I can remember at Lord's. And that needs to continue.
And getting the sport played in state schools?
Yeah,
is the
well,
problem. Only 20% of state schools play the game.
Yes, well, that's, I think, where the relationship with clubs can work very, very well. MCC has very good relationships with the clubs, as do ECB, and if we can encourage the clubs to adopt schools where schools don't have the facilities, those schools can actually use the facilities of the clubs. It also works in terms of the economics for the clubs, because the clubs themselves are increasingly threatened by pressures with, other sports and other distractions. So I think there's a lot more that can be done, and the answer doesn't purely lie with MCC, it lies with cricket as a whole.
The talent pool has to be of the whole country, not just limited to a privileged part or a specific area, and that is how the game improves. For public schools who have facilities to try and open that up to state schools and other children around the world to come in, around England to come and use them. For the MCC to reach out to communities as we do very, very well at the moment, and have a talent pathway, growth and participation pathway where hopefully people will graduate. See, sometimes we only think about national or international representation, but cricket has a larger bearing on how their life progresses, improvements in character, ideas about teamwork, integrity, playing or doing something with passion, and following your dreams. And not everyone may make it to the international stage or represent a county, but I think the influence that will have in a child's healthy upbringing, in their formative years of doing something together and feeling part of a larger group and having that benefit their onward journey, is huge and cannot be underestimated, be it cricket or any other sport. And cricket has values that underpin it that you find very rarely in other sport, and it is very relevant to life itself.
Laws of cricket is an area where the MCC does have real power. Are there likely to be changes to the law that we saw in the World Cup final when the overthrows and it hit the bat and effectively won England the World Cup? Are we going to see a change to that law, Kumar?
There will be definitely a revision to see whether that needs to be changed. The law as it is.
Do you think it will be changed?
Well, I think there will it will be looked at in the context of that World Cup. But the law in itself in that situation is very clear. Of course, that extra run could have been avoided if the protocol was in place, that decision could have been referred to a third umpire, use of technology that has come so strongly into the game as well. So we'll have to really look at whether it's the law or whether we can influence the ICC to try and have that protocol in place where the right decision can be made.